Nightbreed, Clive Barker's dark masterpiece of imagination and imperfection. Few directors in horror history have balanced brilliance and frustration quite like Clive Barker. After the breakout success of Hellraiser in 1987, Barker quickly cemented his place as a visionary in genre filmmaking. Yet his 1990 follow-up, Nightbreed, is a film that both dazzles and confounds. It remains one of the most visually inventive horror films of the 1990s and, at the same time, one of the most maddening in its lack of narrative cohesion. Adapted from Barker's own novella Cabal, Nightbreed had all the makings of an ambitious horror fantasy epic. It's a blend of folklore, myth, gothic horror, and even punk and BDSM culture, hallmarks of Barker's richly layered creative style. But where Hellraiser was tight, thematically focused, and disturbing in its precision, Nightbreed is expansive, unwieldy, and messy. It's a film that's bursting at the seams with ideas, too many, perhaps, for a single feature. A Dream of Monsters. The film follows Aaron Boone, a troubled young man plagued by vivid dreams of an underground city called Midian, inhabited by mysterious, shape-shifting creatures known as the Nightbreed. Boone's therapist, Dr. Philip Decker, played with chilling menace by director David Cronenberg, is secretly a serial killer who manipulates Boone into believing he's responsible for the murders. Drugged and disoriented, Boone flees and discovers that Midian is not a dream but a real place. After an encounter with its monstrous inhabitants, Boone is bitten and transformed into one of them. As Boone uncovers the truth about Midian and the Nightbreed's connection to an ancient deity named Baphomet, the film evolves into a tale of persecution, survival, and identity. The Nightbreed are revealed as an oppressed people, hunted by the surface world. Boone, once a confused outsider, becomes their reluctant savior. A feast for the eyes, a struggle for the mind. Visually, Nightbreed is a triumph. The creature design, led by Bob Keane and Jeffrey Portas, is imaginative and diverse. No two Nightbreed look alike. Some are animalistic, others spectral or demonic, and many blur the line between grotesque and beautiful. Barker's love for the outcast and the misunderstood pulses through these designs, creating a cinematic world unlike anything seen before or since. Yet for all its visual splendor, the film's structure is chaotic. Barker, a gifted writer but still a novice director at the time, struggles to balance plot with tone. Scenes often unfold with stunning imagery but lack narrative momentum or emotional weight. Characters appear and disappear without explanation, subplots are dropped, and motivations shift with little justification. This isn't just a case of complexity, it's a lack of clarity. Take, for example, the character of Narcisse, who mutilates himself shortly after meeting Boone. It's a shocking moment, but one that's barely contextualized. Why is Narcisse in the same hospital as Boone? How does he know about Midian? These questions go unanswered. Similarly, characters like Peliquin, Kinski, and even Boone's girlfriend Lori fluctuate wildly in their intentions and personalities. It feels less like character development and more like inconsistency. Missed connections and muddled stakes. The central relationship between Boone and Lori is meant to ground the film emotionally, but it falters due to flat performances and a lack of chemistry. Craig Sheffer's Boone, while visually appropriate for the role, struggles to convey the internal conflict needed for the character's transformation. And Bobby's Lori fares only slightly better, but their bond, supposedly the emotional core of the story, never resonates. Supporting characters like Father Ashbury arrive too late in the film to matter, and their arcs feel rushed. Barker clearly intended Ashbury to be a new antagonist in future stories, but Nightbreed fails to set up that transition convincingly. Decker, while menacing and iconic in his button-eyed mask, is also underdeveloped. His descent into Nightbreed Hunter is more implied than explored. The frustration of untapped potential. Nightbreed is a film with a rich world, profound themes, and stunning aesthetics, but it feels unfinished. Studio interference is partly to blame. 20th Century Fox was reportedly baffled by Barker's vision and demanded cuts and changes that weakened the final product. A longer director's cut, released decades later, restored much of Barker's original intent, offering a clearer, though still flawed, narrative. Even so, the film never fully delivers on its promise. What Nightbreed represents, however, is boldness. In a horror landscape dominated by slasher sequels and conventional scares, Barker dared to introduce a world of monsters as misunderstood heroes, persecuted for their existence. He flipped the script, challenging viewers to sympathize with the grotesque and question the definition of evil. Conclusion: a beautiful, broken dream. Clive Barker's Nightbreed is not a perfect film. It's not even a great one in the traditional sense. But it is a necessary one, a creative risk that, despite its flaws, expanded the boundaries of what horror could be. It is both a dark fairy tale and a statement of purpose, that the monsters we fear may be more human than we think, and the humans we trust may be the true monsters. For fans of horror that dares to dream, Nightbreed remains a vital, if frustrating, milestone. A cult classic not because it's polished, but because it's personal, messy, ambitious, and defiantly original.